Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtottara Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Samstapakacharya Sevra the whole world Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 9, The Dynasty of Amshuman, Text 15. Sanniveshya Mano Yasmin, Sanniveshya Mano Yasmin, Sanniveshya Mano Yasmin, Shraddhaya Munaya Amalaha, Shraddhaya Munayo Amalaha, Shraddhaya Munayo Malaha, Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva, Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva, Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva, Sadyo Yata Tad Atmatam, Sadyo Yatastad Atmatam, Sadyo Yatastad Atmatam, Sanniveshya Mano Yasmin, Shraddhaya Munayo Malaha, Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva, Sadyo Yatastad Atmatam, Sanniveshya Mano Yasmin, Shraddhaya Munayo Malaha, Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva, Sadyo yatastadatmatam Sanniveshya mano yasmin Shraddhaya munayo malaha Traigunyam dustyajam hitva Sadyo yatastadatmatam Sanniveshya mano yasmin Shraddhayo munayo malaha Traigunyam dustyajam hitva Sadyo yatastadatmatam Sanniveshya, giving full attention. Manaha, the mind. Yasmin, unto whom. Shraddhaya, with faith and devotion. Munayaha, great saintly persons. Amalaha, freed from all contamination of sins. Traigunyam, the three modes of material nature. Dustyajam, very difficult to give up. Hitva, they can nonetheless give up. Sadyaha, immediately. Yataha, achieved. Tat atmatam, the spiritual quality of the Supreme. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Great sages, completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Such persons are liberated from material bondage without difficulty, and they become transcendently situated, acquiring the spiritual quality of the Lord. This is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please repeat the translation. Great sages, completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Such persons are liberated from material bondage without difficulty, and they become transcendently situated, acquiring the spiritual quality of the Lord. This is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 16 and 17, I'll read by myself. Shruto bhagiratha jagye tasya nabho paro abhavat sindhudvipas tatastasmat ayutayustato abhavat Rutuparno nalasakho yoshvavidyamayan nalat Dattva aksha hridayam chasmai sarvakamastu tatsutam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bhagiratha had a son named Shruta, whose son was Nabha. This son was different from the Nabha previously described. Nabha had a son named Sindhudvipa. From Sindhudvipa came Ayutayu, and from Ayutayu came Rutuparna, who became a friend of Nalaraja. Rutuparna taught Nalaraja the art of gambling, and Nalaraja gave Rutuparna lessons in controlling and maintaining horses. The son of Rutuparna was Sarvakama. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Gambling is also an art. Kshatriyas are allowed to exhibit talent in this art of gambling. By the grace of Krishna, The Pandavas lost everything by gambling and were deprived of their kingdom, wife, family, and home because they were not expert in the gambling art. In other words, a devotee may not be expert in materialistic activities. It is therefore advised in the Shastra that materialistic activities are not at all suitable for the living entities, especially the devotees. A devotee should therefore be satisfied to eat whatever is sent as prasad by the Supreme Lord. A devotee remains pure because he does not take to sinful activities such as gambling, intoxication, meat eating, and illicit sex. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the 15th verse, Shukadeva Goswami is describing great sages, Munayaha, completely freed from material lusty desires, Amalaha, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. Shraddhaya, Sanniveshya, Manaha, with faith and devotion, they are devoted to serving the Lord fully, with full attention. Such persons are liberated from material bondage without difficulty. Traigunyam Dustyajam Hitva. Dustyaja means, although it is very difficult to become liberated from material bondage, Traigunyam, still they are able to get liberation from material bondage, and Sadyoyatas Tadatmatam, they become transcendentally situated, acquiring the spiritual quality of the Lord. This is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Shukadeva Goswami is glorifying the Supreme Lord, that the living beings in this world, they are very badly entangled, in the complicated meshes of the three gunas. Actually, if you carefully study the material nature, how it works, Ayurveda is very interesting. Ayurveda science. That yes, Ayurvedic science is medical science, but then the way this body is made, human body especially, is that it is always composed of 3 dhatus. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. Every human body is like that. Now, these 3 dhatus have to be in a balanced condition for good health. What is the use of this body if we are not in a healthy condition? It gives so much trouble. All of us have experienced sometime or the other. So, if you study from Ayurvedic perspective, whenever a person becomes diseased or has some bodily problem, it is because these 3 dhatus are out of balance. So, a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor particularly, if at all somebody goes for treatment, the doctor has to do only one thing. He has to check up what is the imbalance. What is the imbalance? Whether kapha has increased or pitta has reduced too much or vata is more, whatever. Something is out of balance. And the treatment he gives is to bring back the balance. So actually the Ayurvedic doctor really does not treat the disease. This is a very big secret of Ayurveda. Very big secret. Unfortunately, most doctors nowadays, Ayurvedic doctors, they do not know how to check the imbalance of these 3 dhatus. Many doctors do not know. So they may give some treatment to treat the symptoms. You say, I have got too much of cough. You'll say, oh, I'll give you some medicine which will bring down the cough. That's also one way of treating, but it doesn't address the problem at the root. It's like if somebody has got fever, it's well known in allopathy. If somebody got fever, then merely bringing down the fever may not solve the problem. If fever is due to typhoid, then that typhoid infection has to be treated. It's not enough to just treat the fever, bring down the fever. Similarly, in Ayurveda, it is said, if the balance of the 3 doshas, these are called doshas, kapha, vata, pitta, technically it is called dosha. Why? Because we should not have got a material body at all. We are meant to have a spiritual body. And spiritual body never gets sick, never becomes diseased. There is no death. But having got this material body, we have to admit this is a defect. So that's why in Ayurveda, these three dhatus of which this material body is made up is called dosha. Three dosha. Three kinds of dosha. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. But still, having got this body, if at all we want to utilize this body for some useful purpose, then there has to be good health. Then only we can do something other than just take care of the body. Otherwise, all the time we'll have to be busy with treating the body. So these three doshas, if it is out of balance, then that is when somebody becomes diseased or somebody is not healthy. So the doctor will check, an expert doctor, and say, oh, kapha has increased, so reduce kapha. So for that he will ask you, what have you eaten in the last few days? Or what is the kind of weather that is prevailing? See, this kapha has increased, he has found out by checking the pulse, nadi. One of the ways, by checking the nadi. Then he will find out why has the kapha increased. Because before somebody becomes sick, they were healthy. Since last 3 days, I'm having this problem. Okay, last 3 days, what has caused this? He has to find out. He cannot simply write some medicine. No. So he'll ask, have you eaten something which has increased the kapha? Or weather conditions have changed, suddenly it has become very cold or very hot, or you got wet in the rain. Like that. So many different reasons may be there for this body to become, the three doshas to become imbalanced. And if he is able to find out the cause, he will simply tell, if you have eaten something wrong, he said, don't eat that. You'll become all right. No need to give any medicine, no need for any treatment. So, it is so important to find out the root cause and treat that cause, which is the real reason why somebody becomes sick or diseased or unhealthy. Similarly, here it is said that Traigunyam dustyajam hitva. Dustyaja means very, very difficult to give up. This entanglement in the three modes of material nature. Whatever we may do materially, either tamoguna will dominate, or rajoguna will dominate, or sattvaguna will dominate. There is nothing like the three gunas are balanced, unlike the dosha. There is no balance. One of them has to dominate. Okay? So, if somebody is not able to immediately come to the spiritual platform where there is no influence of the three gunas, nistraigunya, then it is advised, better you be in sattva guna. Better you be in sattva guna. But even sattva guna is binding in the material world. So there are so many personalities in the upper planets Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. These 4 planetary systems are specially meant for those who are in the highest mode of goodness. And they are fully devoted to self-realization. They are able to perform severe austerities, or they are completely detached. There are sannyasis, brahmacharis, there are enlightened sages who are fully enlightened in Vedic wisdom. Still then, they are not yet reached the perfection of self-realization. Why? Because they are not able to come out of Sattva Guna. Even though Sattva Guna is very nice compared to Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Sattvam yad Brahma Darshanam. According to Bhagavatam, if one follows the path of devotional service, gradually one is able to elevate oneself beyond Tamoguna and Rajoguna. If you see the series of verses, Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishnaha Punya Shravana Kirtanaha Hridyantasto hi Abhadrani Vidunoti Suhritsatam. So Suta Goswami explains to the sage of Naimisharanya, simply by hearing Krishna Katha or hearing holy name of Krishna, one is able to purify one's heart of all material contamination. So this purification, when it begins, initially, tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayaschaye cheta eter anaviddham. Initially, the purification is how to become free from the influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Because Rajoguna, Tamoguna are very, very, very bad. The influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Kama, Lobha, all these things will be disturbing, afflicting, torturing the human being. So therefore, tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayaschaye cheta eter anaviddham. The heart is first of all cleansed of these 2 influences, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. As we go on hearing and executing devotional service, hearing Krishna Katha, then after that, Sthitam Sattve Prasidati. One becomes situated in Sattva Guna. Prasidati, one becomes immediately joyful. One becomes joyful. So, Sattva Guna means relief from the suffering due to this Rajoguna and Tamoguna. That's Sattva Guna. But in Sattva Guna, one may be stuck up for millions of lifetimes and not make any further progress to come to Shuddha Sattva, to come to the transcendental platform, spiritual platform. So, spiritual platform, somebody wants to make progress, to come to the spiritual platform beyond even Sattva Guna, then only one can become liberated. That is possible only by bhakti. That is not possible by tapasya. That is not possible simply by Veda, studying the Vedas. That is not possible by performing different types of pious activities like dana. That's not possible by tyaga, shaucha. All these Brahmanical qualities Shamo, Damo, Tapas, Shaucham, Kshantir, Arjavam, Evacha, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma Karma Swabhavaji. These 9 qualities by which Brahmanas work, they are helpful for rising above rising above Rajoguna and Tamoguna. But to come out of Sattva-guna is only possible by bhakti. There is no other way. So therefore, here particularly Shukadeva Goswami is glorifying the Supreme Lord. If somebody is able to devote their minds fully to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, very easily they are able to become free from this Trigunya, 3 gunas, all the 3 gunas. Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityayitan. Gunatita. One is able to rise above all the 3 gunas, not only Rajoguna, Tamoguna, but even Sattva-guna, which is very, 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 very difficult. More difficult than rising above Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Very difficult. So that also becomes possible for those who are engaged in Avyabhicharini Bhakti. Avyabhicharini Bhakti means pure devotional service. That's why it is said, great sages completely freed from material lusty desires. Even in Sattva-guna, there is a tinge of lusty desire for material enjoyment. Lusty desire means a strong desire to enjoy materially. It could even be enjoying peace of mind in the material world. Enjoying knowledge, or enjoying some position in the upper planets, in Brahmaloka. All these are lusty desires. So therefore, it is particularly said here, great sages completely freed from material lusty desires devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. So first of all, to become free from all lusty desires is to actually develop a desire to render pure devotional service to Krishna. So that's why associate with devotees. Sadhu Sangha. Sadhu means devotee. Bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyaha. According to Bhagavad Gita, who is a real sadhu? One who is bhajate mam ananya bhak, one who is engaged in pure devotional service, always unfailing in all circumstances. Associate with such devotees. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra ka hai, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhiha. Even if you are able to get association of such pure devotees for a fraction of a second, for some few moments, that's enough. We are reading this Memories of Srila Prabhupada by his disciples. So one of the devotees says that I got association of Prabhupada in the beginning only for very, 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 very few moments. That's all. But that changed his life completely. He got attracted to Krishna consciousness movement and became a full-time missionary. and dedicated his life completely for Krishna consciousness. You see? So, lava matra sadhu sangha. Lava means a fraction of a second. Sarva siddhi hoy. He will attain highest perfection. So, therefore, here it is particularly said by Shukadeva Goswami, great sages, those who are completely freed from material lusty desires, devote their minds fully to the service of the Lord. So we should also be able to not just finish 16 rounds, do some puja. That's all the beginning. One can take satisfaction in the beginning. I'm able to do this, I'm able to do this. But as we become older, especially when the body becomes old, we have to be very careful not to be satisfied with doing some devotional service only. No. How we can fully devote our mind for the service of the Lord only and nothing else. And in this way, we can very quickly purify our heart of all types of material desires. All types of material desires. No more material desires. Then only we can go back to Godhead. Then only we can transfer ourselves to the spiritual kingdom of God. Yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama samsiddhim paramam gata. Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita. There is perfection and there is the topmost perfection. Siddhi and samsiddhi. Siddhi means liberation from material bondage. But samsiddhi is beyond even liberation from material bondage, attaining the kingdom of God. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gata. So this mamupetya, those who attain my abode, my nature, my association, different ways Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Puta madbhavamagataha. Another place he says, one becomes purified to be able to attain the same nature as Krishna's nature. So here also Shukadeva Goswami is telling, Sadhyaha yataha tat atmanam, tad atmatam. So one attains the spiritual quality of the Supreme Lord. That spiritual quality of Supreme Lord is beyond Sattva Guna. Is beyond Sattva Guna. It is Shuddha Sattva. Transcendental goodness. Transcendental goodness. So that transcendental goodness is not possible by yajna, dana, tapa, swadhyaya, all these things. No, cannot. Only by bhakti. Only by bhakti and nothing else. In the 8th chapter, very nicely Krishna says, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. Krishna says, whatever benefits one may get by study of the Vedas, Vedeshu, Yajneshu, by performing different types of sacrifices, tapassu chaiva, by performing severe austerities, different types of austerities. Daneshu, by giving charity. What is that? Daneshu, Vedeshu, Yagneshu, Tapassu Chaiva, Daneshu, Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam. Whatever punya you can get by any of these, for a devotee, yogi means a devotee, very easily he gets all these results without any separate endeavor. Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva. Idam viditva means understanding devotional service, pure devotional service. If we can understand the process of pure devotional service, complete purification of heart, cheto darpana marjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam. How much should we purify our heart? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us to the point of extinguishing this blazing fire of material existence. This blazing fire of material existence is either we are trapped by tamoguna or rajoguna or even sattoguna. So, bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam means no more we are even under sattva-guna. No sattva-guna, no rajoguna, no tamoguna. Second chapter, Krishna says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. Don't be satisfied with sattva-guna. No. Elevate to the spiritual platform, Nistraigunya. All the three gunas you should become free from. So therefore, this Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti. Param sthanam is the topmost position. What is that? Upaiti chadyam, the original position, the constitutional position, swarupa. Swarupa siddhi. Swarupa siddhi. That is required. So therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita clearly says, you come back to me. Don't be satisfied if you are in Brahmaloka or some other sattva guna position. No, don't be satisfied with that. So, this is the glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the blessing of the Supreme Lord only. It's possible. Our own endeavor, how much ever we try, that is only for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Lord and attracting His attention. That kindly bless me and give me the place even as the dust of your lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in this way. Ayi nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budau. Vishama means very, 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 very horrible. This fall down into material existence is a horrible condition. Simply suffering. Simply suffering. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer is Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budhau kripaya tavapada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrusham vichintaya. Kindly pick me up from this ocean of repeated birth and death and place me as even one of the atoms of the dust of your lotus feet. That's why devotees always seek shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Very, very specifically, devotees want that. And such shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna is for those who are constantly engaged in his pure devotional service. Constantly engaged in his pure devotional service. Otherwise, not possible. So, therefore, many places in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is stressing constant engagement in his service. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Ananyas chintayanto mam. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashaha. Many places Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita. To be constantly engaged in devotional service, pure devotional service to Lord, guarantees that we will be able to attain shelter at his lotus feet. And that is the only safe position for us. Only safe position. There is no other position which is safe in this material world. Even in the material world, we can take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Like devotees, pure devotees. Even when they are in the material world, they are safely under the protection of the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Samashritaye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare. So, Krishna's lotus feet are the most suitable shelter for everyone in the entire universe or material creation. Everyone. It is a shelter not only for some few people. No, it is for everyone. So that Brahma says in his prayers to Krishna, that your lotus feet are the most suitable shelter for all living beings in the entire creation. So we should seek shelter of Krishna's lotus feet by constantly engaging in pure devotional service. That is possible if we follow the rules, regulations very nicely and become very eager to constantly engage in devotional service. Constantly. So I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.